let's talk about Timbaland and let's talk about Biggie Smalls. It's not a non sequitur. It's an actual thing that goes together. That Timbaland did this interview where he talks about how he's bringing Biggie back to life through AI.
Stop it.
He doesn't actually call it bringing him back to life, but yeah, like he does this interview, and let's play this clip really quick. And I figured you'd have a take.
I mean, yeah, let's hear it.
Go ahead, because I have no words.
Okay, let's listen to the clip here. So this is I have the interview. Yeah, okay. So here it is. Here's him talking about it first.
All right, so I'm sitting here with my brother, Creative God, and we know that there's a lot of talk about AI. We know how the feelings of violating certain things, but let me tell you something. I got a solution. I got a solution. I'm working on it. It's going to be beneficial to everybody. But in the meantime, you know, I got to share something I've been working on because I always wanted to do this, and I never got a chance to. I always wanted to work with B.I.G, and I never got a chance to. Until today, it came out right. Play.
Not a pimp, but I keep it tricked up my sleeve. Roll my sip and fuck around and get your big seeds. Got her in my palm, she won't be my main squeeze. Look up, cheese, it ain't obvious in me. Keep all my gold so glowing when I'm grinning.
I mean, it sounds like it.
Yep.
I'm not familiar enough with Biggie's raps to say if this sounds like.
I don't think so.
It'll sound like his voice, but it's not performed, right? Like,
Yeah.
There's no soul in it.
when I'm in the booth tracking, right? There's three things that a producer says to me, and I tell them the only thing I need from you is three things: timing, pitch, and I don't buy it. And I don't buy it means I have to perform it for them.
Yeah.
I have to sing like they have to believe that what I'm saying, I mean it.
Yeah.
And so there's a little bit of acting that goes on in there.
Right.
And I assume in the future AI may be able to do that.
Yeah.
But that is always going to be what AI guessed they would do, not what the performer would have chosen
Right.
Exactly.
to
To
do.
me, you've played a few of these AI songs over the last couple weeks, and to me, every time I hear it, I'm like, that sounds like someone's doing like. It's like I hear someone down the road. I'm like, oh, that guy kind of sounds like so and so.
Yeah.
But it doesn't ever actually. I'm like, yo, that's Biggie Smalls down there.
Yeah.
I like it's not. They haven't reached the uncanny valley yet. There's just too much. Like you said, we don't buy it.
Yeah.
I mean, the issue I had with it was more like, there's a level of like selfishness in, I never got a chance to work with him, therefore I'm gonna make this. Like you're making a choice for someone that can't make that choice.
Yeah.
And I kind of take issue with that.
Yeah.
Like that was where that's the issue I take with it.
I mean, I guess I understand, but it's not like he's actually ripping off lyrics or like just ripping a sample, you know.
Yeah.
Like that's my whole thing is this
There was also
different.
Do you remember when they did the Biggie concert in the metaverse?
Is yes. Well, or when they do like the holograms of like they've done it of Prince. I think they've done it of Biggie. That to me is way more offensive than plugging their voice into the AI and getting them to spit out something. I don't know why, but that like I don't know. It just seems more inappropriate than doing what Timbaland's doing.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. For me, this is one of those things where I see it. He also mentions, like in the song, he mentions Nipsey Hussle and Pop Smoke, which is a weird like invocation to like bring up people that weren't around when Biggie was alive.
Right.
So that's uncomfortable and weird in a way.
Why did he bring those guys up? Because they're also dead.
Yeah. It says also weirdly screwing with time by name dropping Nipsey Hussle and Pop Smoke. Both slain rappers came onto the scene decades after Biggie died. Obviously, he would have never been able to. So that's a weird type of. I know a lot of people, and it's funny because they like every time they would release a new Tupac album every 5 years with like basically reworked tracks and stuff like that. Yeah. And then a lot of times they'll just put tracks from rappers over other songs and stuff like that. Right. And that somehow feels less weird to me than this.
This might this might be, and this is just an idea that just popped in my head. I wonder if this kind of thing is going to be something that happens more in rap than other genres. Yeah. Because I don't know, but I feel like it makes more sense to have people rapping than singing.
Right. Yeah.
And again, I could be wrong, but I feel like this is something that rappers would want to do more so than other artists.
Yeah. Well, even if they're not rappers, if you want to all of a sudden add like some kind of rap verse into your song, you're like a rock artist or something. Now, what this also like, with all this AI voice stuff coming out, I'm realizing that it's mostly men generating men's voices. And so in movies, a lot of the time you'll see like the AI overlords were always a woman's voice, but I don't think that's going to be the reality. When the AI takes over, I think it's going to be a man's voice. It's going to
patriarchy wins again.
Yeah.
I actually think one of the things that I think prepared us for this more than anything, I saw a couple of people say like they think that all the implementation of the of like the TikTok like voice or like the voice of Siri, the voice on Android are all kind of like getting you used to your robot overlords. But also like think about for how long I listened to a really bad version where they made Britney Spears sing a Christina Aguilera song, and you realize that we've been listening to heavily processed voices for so long that you won't even be able to tell the difference.
People won't know.
Yeah.
Like everybody's voice that you hear has been processed and edited. Most of the time when you hear a singer singing, you're not hearing one take, you're hearing multiple takes chopped up and put together. They call it comping. I would say 99% of artists that are vocalists that sing go through some type of tuning.
Yeah.
Even if they're the best, like they just send them through the box just to be 100% sure, because everybody's used to hearing perfection.
Yeah.
Nowadays, when people hear music that is not to the grid and has fluctuations throughout the song, the tempo changes that are unintentional, just human, it sounds bad to their ears because they've been so used to hearing perfected music for so long. When we were doing, it was when we were doing For We Are Many, there was editing. And our drum editor made a joke to our producer and was like, yeah, I got him about, I edited him and I got about 95% of the way there because I wanted him to have a little bit of humanity. And our producer goes, what? No, I want robots. They need to sound like robots.
No humanity.
I agree, because that's what metal records sound like. Yeah. And if we put out a record that sounds like, like it's live, like it's not on the grid, people are going to say that record sounds like crap. And they won't know why. They're not going to say, oh, they didn't do this or they didn't do that or blah, blah, blah. They're not going to be able to articulate why it sounds bad. Right. They're just going to hear it and they're going to say, that doesn't sound as good as the other things that I normally listen to.
And I was going to say, and that's why, we talked about Ed Sheeran at the very beginning of the show. And it's like, it's very hard, like, I don't know the exact terminology for everything, but all music basically is built on the same, was it 4/4? For the timing structure?
Most of your modern music is in 4/4, yeah.
Right, so
it's 1, 2, 3, 4.
How much can you really do at this point when music's been around for hundreds of years and for how many decades it's been in 4/4? It's like, it's all going to start sounding similar, at one point or another. And that's why a lot of people, like some bands and some music, will be in other, what do you call that? Being in, like, I don't know the music terminology, but not the timing. But
time signature.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, other bands and musicians will experiment with other time signatures, and it just doesn't usually do well.
One of the things that you find a lot is people they won't experiment with time signatures. They'll experiment with syncopation and stuff like that. So they're actually in 4/4. So like Meshuggah, this band that's a very, very famous, popular, progressive-ish metal band. Their stuff sounds very complex, and there's a lot of syncopation, a lot of stuff that they do like that. And it makes it feel like it's not quite in 4/4. Mm-hmm. But the giveaway is your hi-hat, and if you can follow the hi-hat, you know it's in 4/4. So if it's da da, it's no matter what the rest of the stuff's doing, if that If it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3.
Yeah,
that's what's telling that the hi-hat is what gives it away.
Well, even like like dubstep music, people complain. They're like, it's all over the place. I can't even keep the beat. I'm like, well, if you actually really pay attention, it's a very simple beat with just little flourishes added here and there, but it's pretty on time, just like you said. You follow the hi-hat, follow the bass.
Yep.
Follow the 808, and it's the same time signature.
It's funny, like we are kind of being programmed because of how much of the media, like people don't really realize that when you're watching these things on social media, a lot of reels, things like this. Oh, go ahead and there's a $20
one. Chicken Bacon Skinwalker says, my point was ruin the meaning of the slur turf by using it against your ideological opponents. Just a thought.
There you go.
I think that the TERFs have embraced the term turf, and they love it because they are actively exclusionary, and they're like, yes, we're TERFs. They embrace it and want to be called trans exclusionary. They're like, get the hell out of here, son.
We're like so much of our media now is produced, like you don't realize when you're watching a lot of these things on social media, just because you're watching it on a social media platform doesn't mean that didn't take time to edit and produce to look a certain way, right? So you are trained to watch things that are perfect, right?
Yep.
And you, like you said, they won't know why it's not right, and they wouldn't be able to take it if they weren't. It's the same thing that a lot of people have said, that this new generation of men are being ruined by porn because they can't actually experience sex with a woman because they've been literally brainwashed by the stuff that they're watching to think that it's going to be a certain way, and then when it's not, nothing lives up to it, and it just proves to you how dangerous all of these mediums can be in a lot of ways.
That is pretty sad.
I mean, it all boils down to all entertainment boils down to something to stimulate your dopamine gland.
Yeah. One of the great memes that I saw recently, it was like she does these like nostalgia bait things, and it's her like clicking on all the old MySpace links. It says new comments, new blog comments, new friend request, and I was like, oh, that was when we all got addicted to dopamine hits and serotonin. That was when it started to happen. When
Top 8 was the first one.
Yeah. Well, like think about it. Like when somebody in your real life says, "Would you like to be friends?" That's not a real thing. That's not how the real world works. But when you get a little graph that says so, a little logo that says so, it becomes a different thing entirely. Thanks for watching. Listen to full episodes of Pop Culture Crisis on Spotify.
Keep up with us on social media and make sure you subscribe and ring that bell so you never miss the show. Bye, guys.